Coming up on this week's episode of SVG Motors Weekly.
So I just got my credit score back, and it's a little bit lower than I thought it would be. What is a credit score anyways?
Guys, I got some great exciting news today. We're going to be talking about the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk.
Here's what has to happen to start improving your credit score. You got to get started now, today, ahora, not mañana. You know what that means, don't you?
Need a car, need it bad, need something better than what you had. Not sure what you want or where to go. Well, there's one place that you need to know. SVG is a place for me, where you get superior value guaranteed.
So I just got my credit score back, and it's a little bit lower than I thought it would be. What is a credit score anyways? How do people figure out this number?
Okay, listen, don't worry about it. More people than you think are dealing with low credit scores. An estimated 70 million Americans today are battling with a low credit score. And as a matter of fact, almost every one of us at one point or another are going to fight with credit issues. Here's the great news. You can fix it. But first, let's find out what's driving that credit score down. Number one, if you've got some negative marks on your credit. Let's say you've gotten behind on a car payment, house payment, or maybe the IRS is coming after you because of some tax issues, or you've had medical bills. So negative marks on your credit will bring your score down. Secondly, high debt. You may be making your payments on time, but you owe a lot on your credit card. So your balances are high on those things. That will bring your score down. Also, and believe it or not, having no credit hurts your credit score. I know it shouldn't be that way, but that's the truth. No credit hurts your score, so you need to get out there and get some credit. And lastly, it can be a combination of a couple of these things. You may have high debt and also some negative marks on your credit. Here's the great news. We can do something about it, so let's get started on showing you how to repair your credit. Okay, so you fill out a credit application, you stick the paperwork out, and you hand it back to the guy who's looking at your credit, and he comes back with a credit score. Well, let me tell you something. It's not any individual who's looking at your credit, so don't worry about it, okay? This isn't somebody judging you. The reason your score comes out the way it is, it's being judged by a computer, okay? And it's the computer's best guess at the likelihood of you making your payment. So it's not always right, okay? And it can be fixed. Here's the deal. Improve your credit report and your credit score will go up. It's really that simple. So let's get started on fixing your credit report, because that's not as difficult as you might think.
Hey guys, Jake Favor right here, SVG Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here in Eton, Ohio. Guys, I got some great exciting news today. We're going to be talking about the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. Now they come in all sorts of different trim levels, but today we're going to focus on the Trailhawk. The way you can tell that it is a Trailhawk is its iconic look. It has the bigger wheels and tires for off-road capability. You have your anti-reflective glare shield on the hood to reduce glare as the driver is driving. You have the two red front tow hooks and the one rear tow hook. Guys, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna run in here and grab Matt and we're gonna take this thing for a test drive and we're gonna learn a little bit more about it. Ugh. Hey Matt, what we got here is a 2018 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. Let's take this thing for a test drive. Matt already touched on the design on the outside of it, but as you notice with the interior, you have all leather interior. You have the dual panoramic sunroof, which is really nice for the summer times. You can actually open it all the way, and people can see in the back as well. It also covers up as well when you hit this button here.
That's amazing, Jake. So this is a great vehicle, Jake, but tell me, how does this thing run?
Well, it's great on fuel efficiency. This one in particular is a 2.4 Tiger Shark engine. It does also come in a V6 engine as well, but this one is a 2.4.
Okay, what kind of gas mileage am I going to get with this trip?
You're going to get up to 28 miles per gallon, Matt. That's on the highway. About 21 in the city.
So Jake, how does this thing do off-roading?
Well, Matt, good thing you asked. It's kind of what this thing is built for. You have four-wheel drive. The cool thing about this four-wheel drive is it has what they call Active Drive 2. And what it does for you is you can change it from automatic, which is going to be, you know, if you're driving and it detects slippage, it's going to apply pressure on the other side to give you traction. You have your snow button, which you can flip to snow, sport, sand, mud, and rock. Now the Trailhawks are the only ones with rock mode. What that does for you is it slows down the gear ratio and allows you to climb easier.
Here's what has to happen to start improving your credit score. You got to get started now, today, ahora, not mañana. You know what that means, don't you? It doesn't mean today. It's, well, we're going to get started right now. Because you know what's going to end up happening if you don't get started now? That green monster of procrastination is going to bite you right in the behind, and then they're going to tell you, oh, your credit score 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now. So we're not going to deal with that. We're going to get started right now. You got one life to live, and let's get this credit situation fixed now. And I'm going to help you do it. So listen. Here's what you got to do. Number one, you got to go out and print your credit report. You got to go find it. So you can go online. There's several internet websites. Google credit reports. How do I look at my credit report? There's several websites out there. Get your credit report, and you should be able to get it at no cost. Okay, now, step one, get your credit report. Step two, you need to analyze your credit report. So here's what you need to do. Print it out, okay? And then set it all out in front of your coffee table right there in the kitchen. Get you a blue highlighter and a pink highlighter. I like to use the blue one for the good stuff, and then the pink one, you know, for the not so good stuff. But sit down. Now, it may be a little intimidating. When you look at it, you're gonna say, oh my goodness, I can't read this. Just take your time. Oftentimes there's instructions on how to read the report, but it's really not that difficult. Just take your time, read through it, okay? Step three, write out a calendar, okay? When your payments are due, how much they're due, exactly what the process is, okay? But also take down all the information you have and who's saying what about you on your credit, okay? Because you're gonna be able to see it. So-and-so says you were behind on the payment. Now here's the best part. Step four, you can dispute these things. The law allows you to dispute these marks on your credit, and it's up to them to prove it. And sometimes it's a little difficult to prove. Do you remember when you were a kid and your mom came up to you and she started blaming you for stealing the cookies out of the cookie jar, and it wasn't even you, it was your brother? It happens. Okay? So you've got to dispute that. And let me tell you something. Put the burden on those credit agencies to defend their position, okay? And it's going to be tough for them to prove it, but you got to be diligent, all right? So, step 5, repeat and rinse. Go back again, go after them and say, hey, listen, you've had 6 weeks ago, I asked you about this, I haven't heard back from you. Continue, write the letters. Send the disputes, okay? Step 6, you need to start to build your credit, okay? Now, some of you out there don't have a lot of credit, or you do and it's negative. Start small. You might go to your bank, okay? You're depositing your paychecks anyway. Deposit your check, even if it's $200, okay? And then ask the bank representative, say, I'd like to take out a credit card against my money that's in this bank account. So you're kind of borrowing against yourself. Believe it or not, you can do that. And you establish yourself more credit. Another way, you know, go to the gas station. You're paying for things anyway with cash. Get a little credit card, apply for your, you know, gas station credit card, and start to use this credit card. Even if it's a $70 balance, whatever it is, use it, pay it. Use it, pay it. You're gonna have to be consistent, but you can do it. Fixing your credit is not that difficult. You can do it. It's simple. And another way, there are agencies out there that you can hire to help you do this. It costs money, but sometimes that's the way to go also. You can also stop in at any one of the SVG locations, and any one of the salespeople or the business managers will be more than happy to give you advice and help you read your credit bureau. So let's get going. Now there's some more information I want to share with you. Stay tuned.
And does this thing have a backup camera?
It does have a backup camera, Matt. Obviously, we can't look at it right now, but when you do put it in the reverse, it automatically engages.
Okay. And does this thing have integrated voice command?
Yes, it does. It's voice recognition right here on your steering wheel. You just press it. If you press it, you can say tune to channel, 99.9, and it'll turn to channel 99.9.
Okay, and can I control the radio on the steering wheel like the older Jeep Cherokee models?
Yes, you can. Your volume control is on the right-hand side behind it, and on your left-hand side is for your tuner.
Great.
Your cruise control is also right here. So you turn it on, you have your set button. You can lower it or higher it, or speed up.
Yeah. So does this have adaptive cruise control with it?
This model does not have adaptive cruise control, but there are models with adaptive cruise control.
Okay, good to know.
What that does for you is you put it in adaptive cruise control, it'll monitor how fast you're going with the oncoming traffic. So if you're following a car behind it and you're set at 70 and they slow down abruptly, your car will eventually slow down by itself. Hey Matt, another cool thing about this vehicle is it has blind spot detection. And what that does for you is, you see those little triangles on the mirror right there?
Uh-huh.
Those will actually light up if there's a vehicle in your blind spot so you don't accidentally get over. Now you can go into the radio and you can hit controls and settings and go right into the safety and driving assistance, and you can put it on lights and chimes so when you turn on your turn signal, it'll actually beep and warn you before you get over.
Huh. That's awesome.
So also with this Uconnect 8.4 radio here, you can actually subscribe to Uconnect, which is a service that's offered by Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Okay.
And you'll be able to send texts and that sort of thing if you get like a phone call or a text message. This way your eyes aren't off the road. You can actually send like quick a text, like be home shortly or whatever you want. You can actually program it to what you want it to say. Of course, with the Bluetooth here, you just hit the phone and it asks if you want to pair a phone, and you click yes, and then you go from there.
Now, Jake, does this thing come with navigation?
It does not. However, though, Matt, you can get it equipped with it. It is nav capable. So what that means is you contact Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or your nearest Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer, which would be us, and we could actually set that up for you.
Hi, this is Brian Lloyd, and today on Tech Tips, we're going to discuss how to jump a car. Snow has started to fall. That means cold weather is finally here, and the last thing you want is a car that won't start. Knowing how to jump your car properly can be a lifesaver in cold weather. Here are the steps you should follow while jumping your car. Step one is to actually have a pair of jumper cables. You should keep these in every car that you drive for such occasions. Step two is to actually find somebody to help you jump your car. If you have enough power left in your car, it's a good idea to turn on your hazards to help let people know that you need help. Then once you have help, you should turn off both vehicles and actually engage the parking brake on each one of them. And the next step is to take the red positive cable and attach it to the red positive terminal on the running vehicle. And then you also do the same thing to your car. Then you take the black negative cable and attach it to the black negative terminal on the running vehicle. And it gets a little different. On your car, you want to take the black negative cable and attach it to this piece of metal to ground the vehicle out. So at this point, you want to start trying to revive your car. You take the car that was originally running, start it up, let it run a few minutes. That way it has time for the power to surge through it in your new car, and then go ahead and try to give your car a start. And at this point, if your vehicle doesn't start, you want to check all your cables to make sure they're attached properly, and maybe give it a couple more minutes to get more juice to it. But once your car is up and running, don't shut it off. You basically want to give it time to get some more charge on there. If you do shut it off, you run the risk of having to redo the whole process again. Jumping a car is not something that's hard to do, but everyone should know how to do it. You never know when you or someone else can use assistance with this, and knowing how to jump a car can be life-saving. Once again, this has been Brian Lloyd on another episode of Tech Tips. Stay safe out there.
All right, you've got your plan of action out there. You've got those pink things marked out. and you're ready to start disputing those negative listings on your credit. Okay, here's how we do it. There's the 10 commandments of disputing your claims. Number 1, you should always indicate whether the dispute listing is being one of two things. You're either challenging that it's not yours or that you're not late. The credit bureaus care nothing about anything else but those two things. Not yours, not late. Those are the two reasons to dispute your credit. Number 2, you should always tell the credit bureau of what your desired outcome is. What do you want them to do about it? Do you want them to completely delete the credit history, or do you just want them to erase that late payment? You got to be clear and tell them exactly what you want them to do. Number 3, thou shalt always provide a reason for thy dispute. You can't just say, look, I'd like you to do this because. You need to give them a reason. You can't just say, please take it off. No, that's not going to work. You need to tell them, look, I got my report and I simply don't understand. I was not late. That's it. You don't understand. I got my credit bureau and I'm disputing this. The reason is I don't understand because it doesn't make sense. Step 4, thou shalt not dispute every single negative listing on your bureau, okay? Because it's going to look obvious. So pick a few separate listings and dispute those. Number 5, thou shalt never sound like an expert. Don't bother quoting something that you read on the internet. Be real, okay? Be a real person, because they're going to think you're some credit agency who's trying to help, and they're not going to want to help you. Be real. Number 6, thou shalt become more insistent with more attempts, okay? So after 90 days, don't keep doing it every couple of weeks. Wait 90 days in between disputes and then go back at it. The second time, be a little more assertive, more aggressive. You know, you might challenge them with seeking legal counsel or whatever, okay? But take it up a notch. Step 7, thou shalt time thy disputes. Don't bother disputing the same listing more often than once every 90 days, 6 months. Kind of went over that. But step 8, thou shalt use inaccuracies and inconsistencies on the report to help justify why it's wrong. The address is wrong. I don't even live there anymore. I never got it. That's part of the problem. Step 9, thou shalt take thy fight to thy creditors who report the negative listing. So let's say it's the department store that says, hey, you're behind on your payment. Take the fight right to them. Call them directly. Hey, listen, you're showing this on the credit history. I need you to take this off. I need your help with this because I was not late. My report shows this. Please give me any report you have that shows why I was late. Take the fight to those individual creditors. And lastly, stay on the ball. 10, you gotta be consistent. Don't give up. Keep writing letters, keep calling, stay at it. And I'm not talking about huge long letters. 1, 2 paragraphs, dispute, send the letter, follow it up every 90 days or so. You will do this, okay? You can do this. So that's how you dispute items on your credit.
Now I see it has a traffic and weather tab, so can I check the weather with that?
Yes, you can. Again, you have to be subscribed to Uconnect, but I believe you get it free for the first year. We haven't set this up yet. However, that's how easy it is.
Now, Jake, tell me a little bit about the safety that comes with this vehicle. I've seen a lot of the great features with the apps, but I want to know that my family's going to be safe driving this vehicle if we take a long trip.
Yes, that's a good thing you asked, Matt. It does have 10 airbags in this vehicle. This particular one is rated one of the most safest vehicle SUVs on the market today. So picture it as you have the fronts, the sides, all around is covered. So your family is going to be protected if you are in a collision. You also have other technologies that are available for these vehicles that you can get, such as lane sense departure. What that means is if you're driving and you're yelling at your kid in the back or something, which, you know, we don't do that, you know what I mean? But if you're yelling at your kid or something and you take your eyes off the road, if it goes off of the road, it will automatically correct you back on the road. So that's a safety feature. It also has the front forward collision. What that does for you is if you're driving and there's a tree that falls down in the middle of the road or something, it's going to apply 20% of the brake and give you a warning. Wow. You're going to want to stomp the brake, obviously, or avoid it.
It's amazing.
And when you're avoiding it, it has what they call electronic mitigation control. And what that does for you is, you're in an SUV, if you swerve, you might feel the side wheels come up. That's not gonna happen with this. What it's gonna do is it's gonna apply more pressure on the opposite side of the brakes and keep you level. You have a tire pressure monitor safety display. So these right here, if you hit these buttons, vehicle information, that's very important, especially in the wintertime here in Ohio, because it gets super cold and then super warm some days. What that does is that's going to lower the tire pressure. This way you can actually look at it and tell exactly what your tire pressure is, so you are safe on your trips.
So I see I've got some other options on here besides the tire pressure.
Mm-hmm. You have your fuel economy. Right now we're getting around 17 miles per gallon.
Can't beat that.
No, we're just traveling in the city anyways. If you go up here, I'm going to do this while you're driving, Matt.
Safety first, Jim.
That's right, safety first. So vehicle info, if you scroll over, you have your coolant temperature, your transmission temperature, your oil temperature, oil life, which is at 100%, your voltage, obviously, for your battery, and back to the PSI. And if you hit up, there's your speedometer.
No speeding tickets.
No speeding tickets.
All right, you can't dispute everything off your credit. You still are gonna have some of those unpaid delinquent accounts. You're gonna have to pay them, okay? They're just not gonna go away, because if you don't, they're gonna come back and haunt you 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years down the road. So let's face it, we're gonna pay them. Now, before you pay them, let's find out who they are and let's contact them, okay? Sometimes you can negotiate a little lower payoff, and you can also, before you pay them, make sure that you talk to a supervisor and ask them to please delete this off my account if I pay it. Get it in writing. Have them send it to you in writing, and they will do it. You may have to talk to a supervisor, manager, what have you, but they will do it, okay? If you promise to pay it, send a letter, they'll take care of it, okay? So get after it. Pay some of those debts that are on there, the delinquencies, you gotta pay them, and you're gonna get credit for it.
So are there any other factors that affect my credit score? What are they?
Right next to the negative credit listings on your credit bureau is high credit limits. It can sink your score just as much as negative credit or bad credit, so to speak. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about how this works, okay? When your credit limits are high, suppose you have a credit limit of $5,000 on your credit card. And if you owe $5,000, then you're at your limit, okay? Now, this computer system is a little weird, all right? So you gotta be very careful. There are people out there who will tell you, hey, close down all your credit cards. Well, guess what? That can hurt you. Don't do that. Unless you have more than 4 credit cards and they're all zero balances, I don't suggest you close credit cards, okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to get your debt to limit ratio down. So let me explain. I need you to add up all of your limits. Okay, so take how much debt you have on that credit card. So let's say you have a $5,000 credit card, you have a $2,500 balance. You're at a 50% ratio, debt to limit ratio. So what you need to do is add up how much you owe on all your credit cards and divide that by your balance that you're allowed to put on those credit cards, and you'll have a debt to limit ratio. And you need to concentrate on lowering that number. And believe it or not, that can skyrocket your score. So get started, pay attention to your limits and your ratios, and your score will get better.
Also, another thing that I might want to touch on for you, Matt, is when you have the remote start, so you double tap the key fob, it'll start the car. If it's below 40 degrees, now this is the cool part, you have heated seats and a heated wheel. If it's below 40 degrees, it will automatically turn on your heated seat and your heated wheel.
Are you serious, Jake?
Absolutely. And it'll run for 15 minutes up to 3 times the start. And what that means is you can start it up to 3 times for 15-minute period. And it has keyless remote entry.
That way I don't have to get my hands out of my pockets when it's 15 degrees out.
Now, you still want your hands out of your pockets to open up the door. No, the keyless remote entry is nice to have if you have your hands full. You don't have to fiddle with your keys to get them out of your pocket. You can keep your keys in your pocket, open up the doors, get the family in safely, and be on your journey.
Now, Jake, this thing has a lot of great features, a lot of great capabilities. I appreciate you letting me take it out for a test drive.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Matt. I'm glad I could, explain some of the features to you and all of our viewers. Now, if you want to know more information on this vehicle or any other vehicles, you're more than welcome to come to SVG Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here in Eaton, Ohio, and see one of our sales professionals. Also, you can go to svgjeep.com. We just redid our website. It's really nice, really easy to navigate through. So you guys got to check that out.
Thank you, Jake.
My pleasure, Matt.
Okay, now we got to get you in the credit game because guess what? No credit is bad, lowers your score, and can oftentimes be worse than having bad credit. The banks don't know anything about you, so we got to get you in the credit game. It's not difficult, okay? So here's what you do. Number 1, go to the mall, get you a little store credit card for a little amount, go to the gas station, get you a couple little credit cards, okay? Something to get you in the game. Number 2, go to your bank, your credit union, whatever, where you deposit your paychecks. Now, talk to someone there and say, I'd like to start a credit card against the money that's in my account. So it might only be $200, $300, $400, whatever you've got in your account that you can run a credit. Now, it's not sexy, okay? But it's building your credit and you're establishing a relationship with that bank. Number 3, another way is to get somebody who does have a lot of credit, a lot of good credit, and have them add you to one of their credit cards. They're not going to give you the card, but it will give you an instant boost in your credit score. Number 4, another way is to get a parent, a friend, somebody to co-sign for you. This can shoot your credit score up, but be careful, okay? Because if you don't make your payments, you can really ruin a relationship because what you do hurts their credit also. So be careful with that. And lastly, don't overdo it. Don't run all over town getting credit cards everywhere, okay? Start slow, 3, 4, maybe 5 credit cards, and you'll be well on your way to being someone with credit.
Thanks for watching another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. And if you haven't done it yet, go to youtube.com and subscribe to the SVG Motors channel. Or go to our Facebook page and like our page. And last but not least, if you want to see future episodes, go to your DVR and search SVG Motors and catch future episodes. Thanks again for watching.